Hi loves, welcome to Olives. In this video I'll share with you how to cut and sew a cowl top with a pleated shoulder. The first part of this tutorial, which is the drafting, will be linked in the description box, so do keep on watching. Let's get right into this video. Like I said earlier, these patterns have been drafted in a different tutorial. So this is the back, okay, which will be cut on grain. I'll add half-inch allowance round. So this is the material I'm using, and this is the grain part, which is also mostly known as the selvage. Okay, so we are going to begin by cutting the front. For the fabric to be cut across the grain, I'm going to fold my fabric diagonal to the selvage. I'll align the center front, which is also unfold, to the folded part of my actual bias fold, if that makes sense. So that will be the center front of my pattern. I went ahead to cut because we've already added allowance while drafting, so all we do is cutting. I use the excess bias fold. I maintain that bias fold so you can see how it drapes. I'm just going to also place it on fold, just the top part of the neckline, so I can go ahead to follow the shape and cut out my facing for my front neckline. This is the excess of the fabric. I also use it for the back. I'll place my back pattern on grain. Okay, I'll go ahead to add half-inch allowance every part except the center back to the facing of the front. From the neckline, I'll mark 3 inches down. I'll just follow the neckline and mark the 3 inches and cut out the excess. Now I've gone ahead to add allowance to my back. Okay, if you check the lower part of this back, you realize that I marked down about 3/4 inch from the hem of the back. That's from the zip extension. Okay, I added it so it can accommodate my back. Okay, before I went ahead to add extra half-inch. Now I also add facing to it, so I'll go ahead to also fold my facing on grain, cut around the shape of the main pattern, and also mark 3 inches from the neckline. This way, connect them together and go ahead to cut. Meanwhile, I went ahead to fuse soft violin to the center back, and I also went ahead to trace out my darts. So all I'm going to do is to go ahead to join my darts together and also fit my invisible zip. And here is what it looks like after joining the dart as well as fixing the zip. Now I'll go ahead to join my facing. This is my front facing, which has been cut on bias. So I also make sure I cut the violin on bias as well, but for the back I cut it on grain, just like I cut the main piece, so they can flow together. Okay, bias to bias, straight grain to straight grain. I went ahead to join the facing just like you saw me demonstrating. This is the back. I'm going to place the front on it this way, right sides facing. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. At the edge of the neckline, okay, I'll leave out about 3/4 inch. Okay, and also from the edge of the armhole, I'll leave out 3/4 inch. So it means that I'm not going to pleat too close to the armhole, neither to the neckline. All right, what I'll do next is to use the excess fabric I have on the front to pleat onto the back. The back is just going to be like the actual shoulder width of the top. And while pleating, I made sure to pleat towards the neckline or towards the center front like this. Okay, that is all I did till I made use of all excess of the fabric. Yeah, so this is what I have. I'll take it to the machine and stitch with half-inch joining allowance. This is how it looks like. We'll definitely repeat the same thing to the other side of the shoulder. Same thing, leaving 3/4 inch. Now you can also decide to use your hand to gather while stitching, okay, or you just stitch 2 rows of gathering stitches, okay, and make sure while doing that you still exclude that 3/4 inch. Okay, so I use the pin to indicate that, so I'm going to stitch away from the pin 2 rows of gathering stitch, and after doing that you just pull from the lower one. You know how we gather, right? So you just pull it out and place it. Make sure when you pull the excess it fits into the back neckline. Okay, spread the gathers evenly and stitch. Okay, but still I am going to deal with pleats, so I went ahead to undo all the gathering and made mine into pleats. Then I'm just going to go ahead to stitch with my side seam allowance. Okay, join the sides together, both front and back. This is how it looks like. I believe you can see I added one more dot. Okay, so what I did was I measured from where the first dart started from, okay, to my side seam. I've already stitched my side seam, okay, so the midpoint I just held about 1/4 inch darts. I want some kind of fit at the center back, that is why I did it that way. Okay, so this is how the front looks like. The cowl looks beautiful. Moving on, I'll bring over my facing. We are going to finally knit in the neckline. Now I'm going to place right side of the facing the right side of the top, and also make sure I meet all the shoulder seams together at the zip extension or the zip area. I'll open up the zip well and pin it in place. So all I'm going to do is stitch with 1/2 inch, and here is what it looks like. All I'll do again is to trim off the 1/2 inch excess, I mean 1/4 inch from the 1/2 inch. Go ahead to notch the curved areas, and all I'll do next is to understitch. I'll make sure the excess is towards the facing and understitch on the facing. Here's how it looks like after a neat understitching. The final thing is to work on the zipper area with the facing. Okay, we can leave it that way. So I'll open my zip again, flip the facing to the right side, open the zip and flip it down, pin it in place, and when I take it to the machine, I'll try to stitch close to the zip. Okay, and also before you do this you need to knit in or use bias around the facing. Okay, so this is how I'll also do the second one. Open up the zip, pin it in place and stitch. This is how it looks like. Okay, because I'll be knitting in, I left about 1/2 inch before stopping. I'll go ahead to trim off the excess and just turn the excess inside neatly. You see that? And I did it to the second one. This is how it looks like. Once again, the last thing is to add hook and eye, okay, to close up the top part of the zip. So this is how to sew a cowl top. Let me know what you think in the comment section. For the armhole area, you can either bind it, okay, with bias of the fabric. You can as well add sleeves to the armhole, and this is the actual fit of the cowl top on me. I hope you enjoyed watching and learning with me. If yes, give this video a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.